Okay, I am here. I must set up my horror house first. Horror house. Oops. Although we could do a murder scene. Maybe next time. I'll do it when I'm ready. What's scary? I don't see anything scary. I will say though, guys, when I typed in Animal Crossing for the category, you know, you type in Animal Crossing new, and normally it brings up Animal Crossing New Leaf, right? Animal Crossing New Horizons. There was a third one, a third Animal Crossing that showed up. And you type in Animal Crossing New, and it said Animal Crossing New Murder. So, I don't know what that is. Hold on, let me set up my camera. You'll probably find out at some point. I know. Hey Google, what is Animal Crossing New Murder? According to Twitch. I'm curious about it now. Okay, we have our... Let me... explain these. I found a web... Oh, is it on Steam?
Hello.
Hi.
How are you doing today, Cappy?
Okay, hang on. Let me turn you up.
Okay, I turn up.
No.
Yes.
I don't think it's on Steam, but I'll find out. Okay.
What is on Steam?
So I was typing in Animal Crossing in the categories.
Yeah.
And there's a new Animal Crossing game. Did you know about this? Maybe it's for the Switch too. Who knows? It's Animal
On
Crossing
Steam?
New Murder.
W.
Oh, you play it on the website? Oh, okay, that's cute. That's cute. I feel like we should play it before Nintendo takes it down. It's got Ace Attorney vibes, but Animal Crossing. Oh, I'm a fan of that. It's cute.
I've been doing so much game dev recently.
Oh yeah, they have a
Yeah.
soundtrack.
Yes. Game dev is fun.
Okay, let me. We could start with the one that one Stour suggested last time.
Well,
The story.
makes sense. What's happening?
Nothing. I'm rereading
Okay.
the chat. I forgot I sent those scary hot dog men. I mean, we could make hot dog man an emote. I think I have 4 slots. Oh no.
W amount of slots.
I mean, we will still have hot dog man. Wait. Yeah, hot dog man is voting. Okay. We will still have hot dog man costume. The costumes are still coming. Do not worry. It's gotta be me? Why? What's wrong with the OG hot dog man?
The OG hot dog man?
Yeah, he can be a follower emote.
W. We're doing pretty good right now, guys. We're doing pretty good right now.
Oops.
My sinuses are killing me, Cappy.
Me too. Oh my god.
This is the age of allergies.
Okay, we can do the wife speaking. My wife has been peeking at me from around corners and behind furniture. It's gone from weird to terrifying. The story's good? Okay.
What was that sound?
I had to hiccup, but it came out.
I did.
Ending could be better, but overall story's amazing. Okay. Okay. I gotta prepare my throat.
Why would you prepare your throat? They won't be able to hear you with your mic anyways.
How dare you? My mic is working perfectly.
It actually is. I haven't heard a problem so far.
Yeah, because I don't. Well, I have a game open, but I don't have a game on my computer open.
Yeah.
The Switch games are good. Oof is right. He's lucky that I deleted the jail of my openings. Otherwise, he'd be going right back in.
Why is my computer dying?
Actually, my computer died as soon as I opened up. I started stream. I don't know what happened.
I don't know either.
Imagine someone scrolling through the Animal Crossing category and they find this. I think this is cute and quaint. I mean, look at all my friends surrounding me. Okay. What if I put Hot Dog Man on the scrolling behind me? Have to consider that. Okay, I'm ready. My wife Lynn and I have been together for 6 years and married for 11 months. Our entire history together has been very normal, and never once have I noticed any weird behaviors or red flags. Can't stress enough how out of character this whole thing is for her. I don't know why I'm so delayed. Yeah, you do always seem to be more delayed. Weird. We're on the same side of North America.
Or, oh, I'm winning.
Oh.
Huh?
Lynn is very kind, intelligent, and thoughtful. He's always been the no-nonsense type of person. Being childish or trying to scare me is not something she'd normally do. You're Central? Ah, I thought you were EST. Whoa!
Imagine not being EST. Couldn't be me.
Whoa! Doesn't even like watching horror movies. When we first started dating, she agreed to watch The Shining with me because she knew how much I loved horror. She was so scared that she didn't even make it through half the movie before we had to turn it off. She isn't into anything creepy and has never been into pranks. It's just not her cup of tea. And that's fine, but that's what's so strange about this. It's just so unlike her. What a twist!
What a twist.
I should also add that she never had any mental health issues, and as far as I'm aware, it doesn't run in her family. I know some people are able to hide their mental health problems, but in the 6 years we've been together, I think I have seen some sort of sign. I'm gonna be honest.
I'm of the
I
mind that everyone has a mental health issue.
well, I was gonna say that I would totally be the person that would act like I don't like scary things and then play a prank later on. I'm a very patient person. I can play the long game.
Patient? Do you
Yeah.
mean forgetful?
No, 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 no. I will. We would get married, and he would think I don't like scary things. But then, little by little, I would do something weird to freak him out.
Honestly, the best way for patience is just forgetting what you wanted to do and then eventually remembering, you know, Cappy?
The remembering part is the hardest part.
Yeah.
Happy is this story about you? I mean, I'm not married, so I don't.
Prophecy?
The prophecy has been foretold. 2 months ago, I was in the kitchen making myself some coffee before work. I was running a bit late that morning, and I knew I wouldn't be able to make it to Dunkin' Donuts for my usual morning fix. Not the Dunkin'. I love Dunkin'. I took a sip of my coffee as I hurried down the hall towards the front door, when I happened to notice Lynn peeking at me from around the corner ahead of me. I could only see her eyes, and the strand of her long dark hair hanging against the wall. The rest of her body was concealed behind the corner. I nearly spilled my coffee when I saw her. I did burn the shit out of my lips. "Geez, Lynn," I said, wiping a few drops of coffee from my pants. "You scared the shit out of me." She immediately popped out of view like a little kid that had been caught. I heard her scurrying off towards the living room, and by the time I got to the front door, she was out of sight. It was really weird, and just totally out of character for her, like I said. But I also found it kind of funny that she was being more playful and a little less serious. I shouted that I loved her and called her a weirdo. As I shut the door behind me, I heard her laughing.
Well, that's cute.
Mm-hmm.
Is this a wholesome story? Question mark.
I'm leaning towards wholesome right now. I think it's fun.
I'm
Play
getting
pranks.
wholesome vibes.
Yeah. Her behavior was a little bit odd, but it certainly wasn't something to call a priest over. I forgot about it by lunch, and by the time I got home, she was her normal self. I didn't bring it up, and neither did she, and life went on. The next incident happened 3 days later. It was around 2 a.m., and I had woken up to get a drink. I was standing in the kitchen island, jug of OJ in hand, when I felt a strong feeling that I was being watched. Who wakes up at 2 a.m. to drink orange juice? Water. I can't imagine going, like, drinking a bunch of orange juice and then laying down. You're gonna have acid.
Wait, you drink orange juice and then you just immediately lay down? Your
Yeah,
teeth are gonna rot.
that too. For whatever reason, I looked down at the floor and saw my wife's smiling face staring back. She was peeking at me from the other side of the island, staring up at me with wide, unblinking eyes and grinning like the Cheshire cat. I usually drink milk late, but sometimes OJ. Really? I only have a 40-ounce tumbler, and I will go down in the middle of the night and fill it up, thinking that I'm going to have restful sleep, but then I will have to pee water. You know?
Water is underrated. Drink more water, everyone.
Water is...
In fact, I think water is top tier.
Water is... I screamed, I'll admit it. Not out of irritation, but fear. For some reason at that moment, I was scared. At the sound of my scream, Lynn scuttled backwards out of my view, her hands and feet smacking the floor tile as she hurried out of the kitchen on all fours. I didn't run after her or even yell after her. I just stood there frozen in shock, wondering what the fuck had possessed her to do that. I do think it would be funny, like waking up in the middle of the night, like your significant other's in the kitchen, getting water, and you just walk into the kitchen like a crab, like on all fours. Yeah,
Honestly, this is again just another story of what happens if you marry Cappy, you know?
yeah, you'll be tortured.
Yeah,
It would be
they should
very
have
funny.
expected that after meeting you.
It took me a little longer than I'd like to admit to go back upstairs, but I eventually did. When I got to our bedroom, Lynn was lying on her side asleep, or at least pretending to be. I stood there for a while, watching her breathing to be sure she really was asleep. I had a feeling she might jump out at me the moment I got into bed, but she didn't. I climbed into bed, and she didn't even move. Her breathing was soft and deep, and I started to wonder if I dreamt the whole thing. The next morning, I waited for her to come down for coffee, and after handing her a mug and kissing her cheek, I decided to ask her about it. What was that about? What was that about last night? I asked, keeping my tone light so I didn't offend or embarrass her. She frowned over her cup of coffee, shaking her head like she had no clue what I was referring to. You were peeking at me again. I'm over there, I said, pointing out the spot on the floor by the kitchen island. She followed my gaze, and when she looked back at me, she burst out laughing. She laughed so hard that I couldn't help but join her. You creep me the fuck out sometimes, you know that? I said, giggled. She giggled and set her
It
cup
really
on the
does
counter
sound like she's just being silly.
and wrapped her arms around my neck. You creep me out all the time, so I guess we're even, she teased. I don't know if that's a
Men cannot
compliment.
understand this level of whimsy.
I don't think I want my partner to creep me out. Like, if it has to be communicated that it's clearly a joke. Otherwise, I'm just gonna be creeped out. We said our goodbyes and left for work. As I drove, I kept thinking about how creepy it had been seeing her grinning at me from behind the island like that. The sound her hands made on the floor as she crawled away. I told myself she was just trying to be silly, just trying to join me in my love of all things horror. It's not like I was afraid of her, but it still didn't sit right with me. I started seeing her peeking at me more and more. Sometimes she'd be peeking out from behind the couch or living room curtains. Once
This
she
really
had
does seem like a communication issue.
Once she even managed to get inside our grandmother's old trunk that sits in the floor of our bed. I might not have even known she was there at all had the trunk's old hinges not given her away. She'd had the lid popped up just enough so that only half of her face peeked through. She'd been grinning like an excited toddler. It was unnerving. I didn't even know what to say to her. All I could do was stare. When I finally found my voice, I asked her why on earth was she doing this. She didn't answer. She had slowly closed the lid, shutting herself inside the trunk. I just walked away feeling disturbed. Lock her in there. I didn't understand why she was doing it, but it clearly made her happy. I just hoped she would tire of the game quickly. Why doesn't he do it back at her? Then he should just hide and peek.
So many horror stories I feel like are just communication issues.
Lynn didn't peek at me for the next 2 weeks. I started to think she was done with her weird prank, and I was relieved. We were watching a show on Netflix one night, and I jokingly said that I hadn't seen her peeking at me lately, and that she must have given up on her spy game. She looked at me with a small smile and said, "Maybe I've just gotten better at it." I didn't say anything, but I wondered whether or not she was joking. For the next few days, I couldn't stop thinking about what she said. Was she still peeking at me when I wasn't looking, and I just hadn't noticed? And if so, what the hell was she getting out of this? I started to feel paranoid, constantly checking whether she was watching from around the corner or behind a door. I was jumpy whenever I was home, and she wasn't in full view of me. I felt stupid and a little crazy. But after a few weeks without another incident, I began to relax. I stopped checking behind furniture and walls, and told myself it was just a bad memory. And a few days ago, things got so much worse. Lynn left to go to a friend's, and I lounged on the couch and played a couple games on my laptop. Around 9 p.m., I hopped in the shower, and as I was washing the soap from my hair, I felt that awful feeling that I was being watched. I slowly opened my eyes and almost had a fucking heart attack. Lynn was peeking from behind the shower curtain. Her entire head stretched into the shower, leaving just her body outside. Her long dark hair hung against the curtain, the ends dripping with water. Her mouth hung open in a terrible grin, eyes wide and red, as if she hadn't blinked in a while. I screamed and jumped back against the wall. She didn't move, nor did her smile waver. Her makeup ran down her cheeks in two black streaks. She looked giddy and completely deranged. I was fucking terrified. She stood like that for a few moments, neither of us saying a word. Finally, after what felt like forever, she slowly pulled her head back out of the shower, and I watched her blurry figure through the curtains as she moved backwards towards the bathroom door. Maybe she's just a little voyeur, you know? Maybe she gets off on it. Open mouth stuff makes me uncomfortable. Yeah, I don't like looking at people's mouths or eyes, even though I joke about the eyes, but I don't
I
like
don't like look at people's eyes, but if I notice someone look at me, I will lock vision with you and not blink until you look away.
Yeah, that's such an extroverted thing to do.
No, I'm introvert.
I disagree.
Introvert.
Yeah.
No.
A second later, the bathroom door slammed shut, hard enough to rattle the mirror. I screamed again and jumped out of the shower to lock the door. I stayed inside the bathroom for over an hour. Maybe I overreacted to some of you, but joke or not, I wasn't going to put up with the crazy shit anymore. That's what I kept telling myself as I paced in my bathroom, stopping to listen at the door every few minutes. I always lock the door when I go into the bathroom. Suddenly, I heard a muffled sound, and I pressed my ear against the bathroom door, straining to listen. I couldn't hear anything, but I envisioned Lynn standing on the other side of the door, giggling at her joke. I felt a surge of anger. I was beyond pissed at being made to feel scared in my own house, and made to hide in the bathroom for an hour. All for what? Some joke? If it was a
What is
joke,
she gonna
it was an
do?
awful one. I
What does
know!
he think she's gonna do? Stare at him? She's
Yeah,
done nothing so far. She's just silly.
she stared at him. She's just a little voyeur. Maybe she... Not my water. Maybe she just loves him so much she just wants to keep looking at him, you know?
Yeah.
What the fuck, Lynn? I snapped. This shit is getting really fucking annoying. I waited for her to apologize or call me a jerk, but instead I heard a faint moan. So quiet I wonder if I heard it at all, and
Huh?
then complete silence. I told you, she's a voyeur. She loves it. Lynn, I called out, not able to even hide the shakiness in my voice. I got no response, just my own heavy breathing. I swear to God, just fucking stop it, I yelled, pounding my fist on the door. I waited for her to cuss me out, something I would expect from me talking to her like that. I never screamed at her before. Honestly, screaming at someone is more scary than watching. There was nothing, just the occasional drip from the shower head. I won't deny that I was scared, too afraid to open the damn door and face my own wife. I waited another 30 minutes or so, which feels like a fucking lifetime when you're scared. Finally, I decided I wasn't going to spend the night hiding in my bathroom. So I got down on my knees and peered under the door. I almost expected to see her face peeking back at me, but thankfully I didn't. I could see straight down the hallway to the top of the stairs, but no Lynn. I didn't know if I should be happy about that or not. I looked for a few minutes waiting to see her head pop over the top step, but it never came. I stood up, my hands hovering over the door, and mentally prepared myself to open it. I slowly turned the lock with shaky fingers. I was about to yank it open when I heard a sound that still makes me feel nauseous when I think about it. A moan, louder than before, but this time I was able to tell just where it was coming from. I turned my head to the closet door as in slow motion and locked eyes with my wife, who was peeking out at me from the slight gap. Her eyes were still wide as ever, and her mouth was hanging open in the most grotesque gaping smile I'd ever seen.
This
I
guy
didn't
just
even
hates his
scream.
wife.
I was I was too scared to. Oh my god, no! I was too scared even for that. Her hands were clasped to her chest, body trembling with sheer delight, as if she could barely contain her excitement. A short, raspy moan bubbled from her throat, deep and raw, sending a shiver through my entire body.
Hmm? Cappy, do you cut out again?
No.
Okay. Does the story just end there?
Oh, I accidentally put a border on. How do I get the border on? Oh. Okay, hang on. The cinematic border, actually. Yeah.
Okay, guys, we're back at silver. We're back on silver.
Her eyes were wide as ever, and her mouth gape was hanging open. Oh wait, I read this part. Somehow, I
Huh?
found the ability to pull the bathroom door open and ran as fast as I could all the way down the steps, snagging my keys and my phone from the table in the living room before running outside to my car. I could hear her shrill laughter behind me, but I didn't hear her getting closer. I didn't bother shutting the front door. I drove away from the house faster than I legally should have, shivering the entire time, either from fear or cold, maybe a little of both. I hadn't grabbed a coat or even a pair of shoes. I was still in my boxers and my hair was still damp. Imagine getting pulled over. I was like, why are you speeding? It's like, well, my wife was looking at me.
I saw my wife in my house.
My wife was peeking at me.
My wife saw my my naked body.
Yeah, my wife was watching me while I was in the shower. He drove straight to my brother Chris's house. Oh my god,
There's
Stream
nothing
Boo!
scary so far other than the wife being mischievous, you know?
Stream Boo. That's crazy.
I feel like the problem with stories like this is they fail to be fun or scary if you just start thinking that one of the characters is you know, silly.
Yes, he's just a silly little goyle. Did you know you can find the best viewers on streamboo.com? Remove this. Streamboo is really they're spending a lot on their marketing. They should hire me as I'll read their ads. I drove to my brother Chris's house, about 40 minutes away, ignoring any and every call and text I got. I didn't check my phone until I was safely parked in my brother's driveway. Lynn had called 4 times and sent a flurry of texts, wondering where I'd gone and why I'd left like that. I threw my phone at the dash in a rage, furious at her nonchalant attitude. My brother and his wife were surprised to see me, especially dressed in a pair of boxers, but told me to stay as
Before
long
we
as I
finish the
needed.
story, can you guys guess what the plot twist is? Is she just silly? 1. Is she you know, a body stealer? 2.
Oh, you think she
What
wants
are
his
the
body? That's why she was watching him?
No, I think she's like one of those things which like steal your body, you know, and then like turn into you,
She
kind
want.
of dealy.
That's why she wants. That's why she was watching him.
Yes.
Mm.
What's the third? What's the third plausible option?
She's a voyeur.
Oh, she has an evil twin, possibly.
Oh,
She's dead and he never had a wife. That's a
she's a
common one,
ghosty
right?
goo. Ghosty goos are known for liking it.
He never knew that she has mental health issues because she is his mental health issue.
Maybe she is just respectfully autistic. You know? Maybe she just likes to play a
That could
little.
be it.
Maybe she's just hyper fixating on pranks.
She has a new YouTube prank channel.
Yeah. Scaring the shit out of my husband for 30 days. Not clickbait. We get divorced.
Yeah.
Chris lent me some clothes and asked me what happened. I told him Lynn and I had a fight, but didn't get into the details. I didn't want him to think I was overreacting, leaving my wife over a prank, even if it was a strange one. I mean, hadn't I encouraged her for years to lighten up instead of being so serious all the time? I had wanted her to relax and loosen up, but this was
Third
definitely
option,
not what
she's the
happened.
Joker
She's the Joker?
because why so serious?
That's true. And she smiles. And the Joker is known for his iconic smile. I tried to sleep on their sofa, but my brain wouldn't let me sleep. Every time I closed my eyes, I saw Lynn's face staring at me from inside the closet. Knowing she'd been in there with me the entire time made my skin crawl. She'd never left the fucking bathroom at all. Instead, she slipped inside the closet
Why does this
and
guy
slammed the...
say swears every other word?
Okay, so I didn't realize the closet was inside the bathroom, so she was just in the bathroom still, while he was
Has
having a
this guy
mental breakdown.
considered applying for a Vizzy popped cartoon actor?
Ooh.
Uh, the animator thingamajig who does like Has Been Hotel and all that, where every other word is a swear.
Oh. Knowing she'd been in there with me the entire time made my skin crawl. He'd never left the fucking bathroom at all. Instead, she slipped inside the closet and slammed the bathroom door shut to fool me. The mere thought of going back home gave me anxiety. I tossed and turned, unable to sleep. Chris ended up giving me a sleeping pill so I was able to get a little rest. My sleep was filled with terrible dreams. All of Lynn's smiling face. My biggest nightmare is seeing my wife happy.
Average American husband in the 90s.
You should just let her be, you know, watch him. That's his life now. I woke up just as the sun started to rise. My sore body ached from the sofa and I felt drained. I knew I'd have to call Lynn at some point, but I didn't know what to say to her. I wouldn't be going home unless she gave me her word she'd never do any more creepy shit. Average boomer. I just wanted my wife back. Her normal, serious self never looked so good to me. See, he wanted to change her, and now she can't go back. He should have
Many
just
such
accepted
cases.
his wife for who she was. A boring person. And that's okay. I was contemplating calling her and telling her that when that familiar feeling came over me. I was being watched. I was staring at the ceiling, my heart in my throat. I didn't want to look away, but the longer I ignored that feeling, the worse it got. My eyes drifted away from the ceiling almost on their own. Her face was pressed up against the window beside the couch, staring down at me with the same gaping smile. Drool dribbled down her lips, leaving 2 long streaks down the glass. I didn't know how long she'd been there, but something told me she'd been there quite a while, possibly all night. I didn't bother screaming, though. I was afraid anger trumped any fear I felt at that moment. I jumped from my couch and pounded my palm against the glass. Lynn, are you crazy? What the hell is wrong with you? Just go home, now. She didn't move. and her ghastly expression never changed. Anything, her smile only grew, as if she had never been more elated. Could hear Chris and his wife moving around upstairs, as if Lynn could hear them from her place outside. Her head twitched slightly in their direction, and she began to close her mouth slowly. Chris called my name from upstairs, obviously concerned. I turned to him and his wife Rebecca, hurrying down the steps. When I turned back to the window, Lynn was gone. The only sign she'd been there was the 2 streaks of drool still dripping down the glass. I tried explaining to Chris and Rebecca about waking up to see Lynn watching me through their window. They were
This
skeptical.
really does seem like a mental health like attack from the main character, you know?
I mean, maybe he's just hallucinating it all.
Maybe it was all a dream.
It was all a dream. They were skeptical. But who wouldn't be? Chris and I went outside to the spot in front of the window, but there were no footprints in the dirt, just a slight indent. Animal, probably, Chris guessed, and I didn't argue. He said Rebecca assured I dreamed the entire episode, and they didn't understand, but I was too tired to explain it to them. He also took a sleeping pill, so these sleeping pills make you dream weird. You know. I called out of work that day and turned off my cell off. I didn't want to face Lynn. Just talking to her was too much for me at that point. I really started to believe something was irreversibly wrong with her. That no matter what promises she made, we'd never be the same again. The thought saddened me to the core. I cried most of the morning. By noon, I figured I was ready to confront her, give her one last chance to explain herself. I could at least give her that after 6 years, I told myself. I turned my phone on and saw the dozens of texts she sent, all from a seemingly concerned wife. We talk. I love you. Please call me. I'm really worried. Can you answer? Just come home. And more of the same. All texts telling me she loved me, and she wanted me home. How worried she was. Not a damn one addressing the crazy shit she pulled. Like she hadn't been acting like a character from a Stephen King book. Even her texts were different. She normally texts novels just to tell me to pick up a loaf of bread. You'd think she'd have more to say to me after her bizarre shenanigans. I thought it probably seemed childish, some of you who are miles away from this situation. But if you saw the way Lynn had looked at me, how she scampered away on all fours like some wild animal, grinning at me from inside the closet like a lunatic, then I think you'd find my reaction was warranted. I ended up staying with Chris and Rebecca for another night. I didn't wake up yesterday until afternoon, and thankfully, I didn't see Lynn's face watching me through the window. I don't want to pry because it's not my place, but is this fight something that can be mended? Rebecca asked. She made us both a sandwich for lunch, and I knew she wanted to breach the subject without seeming to be nosy. I mean, you're in her house. He's politely asking, is there a way you're gonna go home? I mean, like, realistically, right? He said he cried all day, so he's just like in their living room crying all day. That's kind of awkward. I don't know. She feels like a different person. I said, choosing my words carefully. Still wasn't ready for her or Chris to know the full extent of the batshit craziness I had been dealing with.
Bodies till their socks go up.
People change, Ben, but she's still the same woman you married. Maybe you both just need to talk through your issues. Whatever's going on, I'm sure it can be fixed, she said, ever the peacemaker. Get on that now. I don't think talking would help. I just don't trust her, I said. The words stung in my heart. I missed and loved my wife, but how could I live with someone like that, living in constant fear? Didn't sound too appealing. Lynn loves you. She has to be absolutely crushed, she said. I don't know about that, I said. Well, she certainly seemed like it to me. I've never seen her so upset. Very much unlike the Lynn I know, Rebecca said, shaking her head softly. It took a full minute for her words to really sink in, and when they did, I felt dread worming its way through my skin. Wait, what do you mean? You saw her? You saw Lynn? I asked, my mouth suddenly dry. Rebecca nodded casually, as if that fact wasn't nightmare fuel. Maybe for her it wasn't. She just... She stopped by this morning just after Chris left for work, she said, cleaning the plates from the table. I didn't see her car though. Maybe she took an Uber or something. Beth, what did she say? Did she come inside? I asked, sweat starting to break down on my forehead. I began looking around, examining corners as though a predator lurked behind them. No. She just asked if you were awake yet, and I said that you weren't. I asked if she wanted me to wake you, but she said no, just let you sleep. She said as she washed the dishes. That's all? She didn't say anything else? No. She looked awful though, like she hadn't slept in days. I think you should call her. I looked up from the table and thanked Rebecca for lunch. I felt a little better at the knowledge that at least she hadn't come inside. Still, I needed to double check that the doors were locked. I sat for a while trying to figure out what to do next. I didn't want to go
Man
home,
hates his life.
but I felt that I owed it to Lynn to help her if I could. Hadn't I sworn an oath to love her and honor her through sickness and in health? Clearly she was very sick. If she was sick, which I truly believe she was, I had to try and get her the help she needed. But I didn't
What are
even...
your theories right now, Cappy?
I think that he's hallucinating.
Oh, that's fair. I can see that.
If she was sick, which I truly believe she was, I had to try to get her the help she needed. What are we reading? My wife is peeking at me from around the corners and behind furniture. Peeking. Understandable and relatable. Luton, do you have a wife who peeks at you from around corners and behind furniture? If she was sick, which I truly believe she was, I had to try to get her the help she needed, but I didn't even know where to start. I didn't want to call the police. And besides, what the hell was I gonna tell them? That my wife was peeking at me? That she was being creepy? As bizarre as she had been, she still hadn't committed any crime. Not yet, anyway. The police would have probably said that I was overreacting, but this wasn't some prank. It felt wrong. Dangerous, even. Like something sinister lurked beneath her smile. I mean, would peeking be considered harassment? Is peeking, like, harassment's kind of like open-ended. So if you feel harassed by her peeking, that's a crime. I mean, I don't know if she would go to jail over that, but... Okay, I will save it for next time. Okay, let me put it down in my notes. I decided to keep the notes this time because last time I did not. Okay. I knew, as her husband, I was well within my rights to have her committed. But what if she simply acted normal in their presence? She'd obviously been able to fool Rebecca into thinking she was just a concerned wife. As long as the doctors didn't find her a danger to herself or others, they'd have no choice but to release her after 72 hours. I felt lost and overwhelmed. So I did what any husband in my position would do. I called her mother. I didn't want to, believe me. Mother, Marianne and I were never on the best of terms. We never fought or anything like that. If these ass thinking, yeah, have her committed for being a little weirdo. She just wasn't a very warm person. It wasn't really easy to get along with. She hardly ever smiled. When she did, only her lips would move into a thin-lipped smile, leaving her eyes blank as before. She gave off
He
this aura.
hates Asian people.
It sounds like maybe he doesn't. There's a cultural difference.
Hey, thanks for the raid, Laser Puff. Thanks for the raid. How are you doing today?
Raid. She gave off this aura that felt like she was permanently on the offensive, and maybe she just doesn't like him. Right. I'd only met her twice, and both times were for such a short visit. I got the impression she didn't approve of me for her daughter. Lynn always ushered us out quickly, as she didn't want me to feel uncomfortable, which I was grateful for. Being in her mother's company felt almost unbearable, like walking on glass. I was glad when we moved 3 states away, so we didn't have to see her often. I was happy to avoid the woman, but I needed her help.
I'm doing pretty good. Cappy is currently reading My Wife Likes to Look at Me. And it is a horror story about a wife who likes her husband.
She's peeking at me from around the corners and behind furniture.
Indeed. Oh yeah, Cappy's having fun. No. Cappy's here. Cappy's here right now.
Am I?
Or I guess you can consider a live audiobook, maybe.
Am I here?
Also, yeah, this is a voice that's in your head. Don't believe what anything anyone tells you. You know.
Happy is the crazy wife. I did say that I would play the long game and prank someone.
Cappy, as if you'd remember.
I wouldn't. But in my head, I would play the long game. Be like, oh, I don't like scary. I don't like.
Laserpuff says voices in your head are most agreeable.
True.
Wait, should we combine chats so that you can read what Laserpuff tells you?
If you want to.
Huh? I can't believe she died, guys.
Did you not hear me?
No.
Oh, I said if you want to.
Okay, yeah, I'll do it real quick. There we go.
No, I would probably just play a.
I sent you the
prank.
thing. Normal prank, as in like prank
like the
2010
walking
era,
into
or
the
prank?
kitchen like a crab. Like that's
Oh,
funny.
okay. Yeah, I was wondering like what kind of normal prank you were using, because like the modern definition is like harassing people on the street, you know, kind of thing.
Oh no.
Modern
Funny if
pranksters really be
both
like
people think-
killing your friend for fun.
Like, I'm trying to think what pranks that I've done. Like at my job, I changed everybody's wallpaper to a quokka.
Ooh.
You know
What?
the animal a quokka?
No.
It's a cute little guy, and they're famous for like you could take selfies with them. They smile. They're cute.
Gabby, do you know what you need to do? You need to become known as the Capybara lady, right? And then when you leave your job, you need someone on the inside still, right? And then
Change the
every week
wallpapers
or
to
so,
capybaras.
have them change things to capybaras for you, you know?
I should. The capybaras.
People will be
Dude,
like, how did
it's just
Cappy
a
get in
prank.
here?
It's just a prank, dude.
Abducting
Abducting our
your
friend and torturing the prank. It's just a prank. You guys can't take a joke? Oh, when I was younger, I like at my school in my art class, they just like had like these little fake birds.
Yeah.
Capybara, yeah. They had these little fake birds, and I took one, and
Yeah.
my neighbor was like outside, and I put the bird in his tree, and I
Yeah.
said, "Oh my God, there's a bird in your tree," and he's like, "What?" And then he starts calling my dad because him and my dad were like besties.
Oh.
and, and then I grabbed the bird, and he was like, "Wait, don't touch it!" And it was the fake bird.
Ruining your dad's friendship with your neighbor, Frank.
I don't think he would have expected that from me. Honestly, I I think I can pull off pranks like that because I have a bit of an image gap.
What is your image, IRL?
My IRL, people think I'm baby, and they don't expect me to uh
Be
be
insane
chaotic.
and evil?
Yeah. But when I do things like that, they're like, "Oh, okay." Happy get off my lawn, neighbor. No, his tree was like right next to our door. We lived in a townhouse at that time. I got a streamer friend who was themed after a quokka. Oh, really? Quokkas are so cute. I love them. I think capybaras are cuter, but
We're
quokkas are...
dying right now, guys. Oh, that's cute. That's cute. I don't know what a quokka is, guys. Don't tell
Google a
anyone.
quokka.
No.
Yes, they're very cute.
No.
They smile. You can take selfies with them. Okay, let's finish. I really didn't want to talk to her at all, but I had to talk to someone, and someone who knew Lynn better than I did, so I grit my teeth and did what I had to do. Yes, she answered, already sounding irritated. Marianne, it's me, Ben. Do you have a minute to talk? I asked. I could hear her cluck her tongue in irritation. I'm in the middle of writing some checks. What? But if you insist, I suppose I can spare a moment. What is it that you want to discuss, Benjamin? She said coolly. I'm too busy
Benjamin.
writing checks. You poor. It's about
Are they
Lynn.
just capybaras? Yeah.
No, they're not rodents.
They aren't?
No.
Oh. They're like beavers.
Checks her body. Cat is forging signatures. But acting strangely. And I was wondering if you had any idea whether there was something quickly interrupted. Bit difficult to follow your rambling, Benjamin. What is it that you want from me? She asked. I could almost see her standing there in her thin sweater and slacks, tapping her fingernails impatiently on the table. I wanted to know if you'd ever noticed any odd behavior. Possibly any mental health issues? I asked. There was a long, uncomfortable pause. But I couldn't tell was because she was just thinking or something else. Finally, after a few seconds, she spoke. I'm not sure if this is one of your jokes, Benjamin, but if so, I don't find the humor in it. Now I do have business to attend to, as I said, so if you don't mind, she said, but I cut her off before she could get rid of me. Marianne, it's not a joke. I'm sincerely concerned about Lynn's mental health. Her behavior has been very erratic lately. I'm very worried about her, and I figured her mother would be as well, I said in my frustration evident in my voice.
No worries, Laserpuff. Have a good night, man.
Good night.
Calling my mother-in-law to tell her about her daughter's mental health issues. Prank. Parentheses.
If you're concerned, then I suggest you get the health professionals involved. I don't know what you expect of me. Dang. Your daughter.
You really be like, my daughter's mental health isn't my problem.
I have checks to write. Excuse me? I could tell she was seconds away from hanging up, and for some reason I was desperate not to let her. I had the feeling that she knew a lot more than she was letting on. Please, if not for me, do it for Lynn, I tried. I heard a faint, shaky intake of breath, as if she were trying to hold her steely persona together but failing. Marianne, what's wrong? Started Benjamin. I don't know what to tell you. My only advice would be to seek professional help. Do not call here again. Goodbye. I tried to call out to her, but she hung up. I tried to wrap my head around the call and her refusal to help me. Even if she didn't like me, why wouldn't she want to help her own daughter? I couldn't understand that. I tried to replay the conversation, desperate to find something I missed. After a while, I almost gave up, until I remembered her last words to me. Seek professional help, she said. Those words were a bit of urgency. I could have just been gasping at straws, but no, grasping. I was sure her voice had changed ever so slightly when she said that, as if they were very important. What had she meant? I assumed she'd been referring to medical professionals, but maybe she was referring to someone else. Someone that she didn't, for some reason, feel comfortable saying directly. Or maybe I was just desperate. I waited for Chris to get home, and after a very long and exhausting conversation with him and Rebecca, I convinced them that Lynn truly needed psychiatric help. I didn't tell them everything. I wasn't prepared to go into it yet, but I told them about our last encounter, how she'd hidden in the bathroom peeking at me from the closet. They were obviously shocked, but thankfully they believed me. They too just wanted to help her. Still, they didn't think it was all that serious. Weird. Maybe, but not dangerous. They just kept saying that Lynn had to be playing some kind of weird joke. Maybe for YouTube? Rebecca offered, if only half-heartedly. Chris didn't think we should involve the police just yet. He offered instead to go with me, and I readily accepted. He reasoned that calmly talking to her, trying to coax her into going willingly was the best recourse. I agreed to do it his way. At least I wouldn't be going into that house alone. We drove over this morning, just after breakfast. There was no way I was going at night. When we pulled into the driveway, my stomach began doing somersaults. Her car wasn't there, but I still didn't let my guard down. The front door was ajar, and for a split second I thought we'd see her eyes staring through the gap. I was shaking and starting to sweat. Chris, however, was fine. He waited for me to open the door, his hands in his pockets like he was going on a fucking stroll through the park. I envied his ignorance. I pushed the door open. It immediately hit with the stench of rot. Chris smelled it too, and he walked into the house behind me and his nose scrunched up. What do you guys use to clean the floors around here? Shit? Shut
At
up,
least
I
he's
said.
direct about it.
My eyes darting around for a few signs of... I just told you my wife was a little crazy, and you're complaining about how my house smells. What do you think? The house was deadly silent and dark despite being 10 in the morning. All the curtains were closed up tight, refusing to allow any sunlight in. If I hadn't left it just 2 days prior, I'd have thought the house to be abandoned. We moved through each room, carefully checking any place she might hide, occasionally calling her name. "Why the fuck are you looking under the couch?" Chris asked eventually. Are we looking for your wife?" he asked. Some couches people can hide in them.
He just hates Asian people.
He was like I was a moron. "Let's just go upstairs," I whispered. He shook his head but followed me up the stairs to check the bathroom and spare bedroom. On the way up, my shoes crunched over pieces of glass that looked to be littered over a few steps. I noticed that one of Lynn and Maya's wedding portraits that hung on the wall along the staircase had been smashed. The frame hung crookedly, all the glass removed. I stared at the picture, a lump forming in my throat. We had taken that photo just after leaving the church, after saying our vows. She looked so beautiful in her white gown. I looked at Lynn's beautiful face. I never dreamed her face would ever be a source of terror for me. We climbed the rest of the stairs and checked the spare bedroom, but it looked completely untouched. I was hesitant to go into the bathroom, my fear from that night coming back to me all at once. Chris noticed and offered to go in by himself, but I couldn't let him do that. So we walked in together, checking the closet and the shower. The bathroom looked as if it hadn't been touched since the night I left. I don't think she's here, Ben. Why don't you pack some clothes and we'll try coming back tomorrow or something? I nodded and went into our bedroom and shoved some clothes into a duffel bag. When I checked inside our closet, I came across the source of smell and gagged. Chris took one look and lost all color in his face. He had to go stand by the stairs to get away from the sight and smell. I gazed down in shock at what lay inside my bedroom closet, soaking in the rug were at least a dozen eyeballs, all carefully laid out in pairs. Some were as large as quarters, while others were as tiny as a marble. I stared down at the eyes she'd collected from small animals and wondered how she'd gotten them, and shuddered at the thought. Man, I thought I had it bad with Becca's shoe addiction, but fuck me, your wife's in here collecting eyeballs. Chris said, gagging. Ben, I think we should go, called from the hall. I'm getting nauseous. Alright, I grabbed my duffel and shut the closet door on my new nightmare. I stepped out into the hall and took a deep breath of air. It tasted the rot in my tongue and I couldn't help but gag. Who the fuck lines up eyeballs in their closet like that? Oh, it's fine anywhere but the closet. That's kind of weird. You line them up outside. It's great. I tried to tell you she needed help. She doesn't need help, then. She needs a fucking exorcist. You coming or what? I can't stand the smell any. His words died in his throat and his eyes grew wide with fear. I didn't ask him why. I could feel it. Someone was watching me, and I didn't think it was the eyes in the closet. I turned around, my eyes slowly scanning the bedroom. Christ, I whispered as I finally saw what we'd missed under the bed. Curled on one side, her watching us with the excitement of a kid on Christmas morning, was my wife. She held her hands together just under her chin, and they were shaking eagerly. Now that she knew she'd been found, I could hear the quiet noises she was making, a sort of hiccuping sound in her throat, as if the excitement was just too much for her. It was unnerving to say the least. Wide eyes and that same huge smile. Everything in me told me to run, but I forced it away. This was my wife. No matter how twisted she was, still the woman I married. I had to help her. Lynn, I said softly. She didn't respond, but her head bobbed back and forth in two quick little motions, as if she were nodding. Baby, I just want to help, okay? Can you let me do that? I asked. I had taken a single step forward, approaching her like some kind of dangerous animal. I love you, Lynn, I said softly, taking another step. She let a tiny moan escape her mouth while it opened wide, and I had to resist the urge to run. Her shoulders were starting to quiver, and her eyes grew as large as saucers. I crouched down so I could see her better, and immediately saw the blood. Her hands were covered in it. Or where do you think she got the eyes from? Just a little ketchup. She trembled more the closer I got, as if she was barely able to contain herself. Oh. I didn't know Twitch puts a whole freaking ad over your whole stream. That's weird. I don't like that. Being advertised a refrigerator. Okay, anyways. I got down so I could see her better, and immediately saw the blood. Her hands were covered in it. It trembled more.
Why did the guy leave?
Why didn't they leave?
Oh, no, some guy left my game.
Oh. They trembled more the closer I got, as if she was barely able to contain herself. Lynn, are you hurt? You're bleeding, I said. She bobbed her head again, her bloody fingers moving up and down as if playing an invisible piano. They occasionally grazed her chin, leaving smears of blood on her skin. I wanted to recoil in disgust. The smell that was coming off of her was revolting. I could feel the vomit trying to climb up my throat. Her lips were dry and stretched thin, blood seeping through the cracks. I knew she wouldn't come out of it on her own, but I didn't want to leave her in this state she was in. I scooted closer and reached out to her. The excited hiccuping sounds got louder and her hands shook, fingers flexing. It was then that I could see the blood oozing from in between her fingers. Oh my God, Lynn, you're bleeding, I said instinctively. I reached out to take her hand, but before I could even touch her, her hand sprang out towards me. A sharp pain shot through my arm, and I fell back on my ass. My arm burned, and I could see the blood dripping down onto the carpet. I looked back at her in shock and saw her grinning madly, her fingers clutching a large shard of glass. You all right in there, Chris asked from behind me. I turned my head slightly, nodded to him, cradling my arm in my chest. When I turned back to face Lynn, I saw that her focus had shifted. She wasn't looking at me anymore. She wasn't smiling anymore either. She was staring past me, her eyes glaring at Chris, the way a hungry lion might stare at an antelope. Her mouth was still hanging open, but it was twisted into a snarl. I got to my feet and began walking back down the hall, afraid to take my eyes off her. Are you bleeding? Chris asked. The moment the words left his mouth, Lynn started fast scooting out from under the bed, the glass shard still in her fist. Chris, run, go, I yelled. He must have been too afraid to move because a second later I felt my back bump into him. He was still standing at the top of the stairs, staring at horror, and that was my wife. Lynn had crawled completely out from under the bed and stood in the bedroom doorway, her face twisted in rage. Her whole body was visibly tense. Blood ran down her fingers and onto the floor. Jesus, Lynn. You, playing hide and seek? I reached back and pushed him down the stairs. Move your ass, Chris, I said quietly but firmly as I could. I like how he's just making a joke of this. Lynn bobbed her head in fast, sharp motions and began to grin, stretching her mouth open wider and wider so that her chin seemed to touch her chest. I heard Chris mutter a prayer, and then he was running down the stairs. I stood at the top of the stairs, stuck between the love for a woman who clearly needed serious help and self-preservation. I only want to help, I said, choking back tears. Her eyes focused on me once again as she slowly lifted the glass, holding it in front of her. And then she started sprinting towards me, grinning with utter excitement. Thankfully, my body took over and I flew down the stairs, skipping 2 or 3 at a time. I made it to the front door before I felt her leap onto my back, wrapping her arms around my neck, her open mouth next to my ears so that I could hear those terrible hiccuping sounds so close up. I shook her off me, knocking her to the floor. I felt a searing pain in my back as she went, but I tore open the front door and bolted to my car. Me when I see a horror beyond comprehension, you make a joke.
Honestly, if you see a horror beyond comprehension, instead of trying to comprehend it, just, ignore it. Just be like,
Or
okay.
you could just make a joke.
There's enough things I don't understand, you know?
You could just make a joke.
Indeed.
Everyone could use a little humor. I only want to help. Oh wait. Chris was standing in the front yard, talking on the phone with the police. I didn't say a word. I just ran to my car and jumped in. Chris took the hint and followed me, still on the line with 911. I watched the rear view mirror. Sure, I'd see her there, running after us, but I never did. Imagine she's running after you. I went straight to ER and got 11 stitches on my arm, and only 3 on my back.
Wow.
Police asked a lot of questions and went back to the house to do a search, but of course Lynn wasn't there. They advised me to stay with a friend or a relative for a while, and to file a restraining order as soon as I could, but none of those things would matter. Somehow I just knew. I dropped Chris off at home and went to a motel an hour away. I wanted to put as much distance between me and Lynn as I could. This is where I've been for the last 4 hours. I thought maybe the police would find her. Maybe they'd get her the help that she desperately needs. But now I don't think so. Because 40 minutes ago I got a text from an unknown number. Just 3 words. I found you. And a picture attached. The picture was dark and grainy, but I instantly knew what it was. There was no
What is
mistaking
it
my
with
wife's
horror
body.
enemies and not having good cameras? Like there's no excuse in the year 2025, you know?
Well, this story is from 3 years ago.
There's
So
no excuse in the year 2022 either.
I don't know. When back in 2022, I had a bad camera.
Skill issue.
I got a good camera with my current. I started typing this out immediately after. I don't know what to do. I'm alone and scared, and I can't help but feel that I'm being watched.
It always feels like somebody's watching.
If you're a streamer, of course there's someone watching you.
Oh no, Lynn?
No. J-Bent.
I think J-Bit went to sleep.
Oh. Or did he?
Or you? Okay. Unfortunately, because I have to start late. I think that's all. Yeah, Shade is here. Very true. I didn't do the remind Cappy you're still watching. How will I know? There we go. Oh,
Is that the entirety of the
my
story?
imagination, Shade. I don't know. How do I get out of the
Did
camera?
anything actually happen at the end of the story, or was it just that?
I found him.
That's it?
Found you. I need a scary outfit while we do the scary stream. And to revamp my horror house. It's not really that scary. Oh, it's nighttime now. Don't look at my village. I mean my island. I haven't played Animal Crossing in. You... There are weeds everywhere. Nothing spooky in this lore. Or do you think like a little kid's bed?
So what actually happened in the story? Does she have mental health issues, or is she possessed,
She
or
found
what?
him.
Is that it?
Yeah. Isn't that scary?
No.
I found you. She attacked your brother. The Brotherhood. Wait, how much money do I have? Why would this? Oh, I do have one of those, I have a new of the crinkly guys. Where did I put it? He's somewhere around here. I must have put him somewhere else. Sahara! Look how weak on my plate. Where did I put the crinkly guy?
My team's fighting right now because they don't have enough healing.
Oh no.
Why is he crinkly?
No. Oh, I thought that was him. Getting up all these weeds. Maybe I put him up. Well, I don't know. Maybe he never.
Maybe you never existed, Cappy.
It's true. So true. Oh, my screen is stuttering.
So you're gonna end here, Cappy? That horror story did not have a punchline at all.
Yeah, I'm ready.
Cause all we got from that was that she was
Silence.
crazy, you know? No, not really.
Is that not fair?
Cappy, do you want to ride Shiki with me? Oh, no, ride Shiki with me.
Even you immediately.
No.
I'm already rating you.
Okay.
Yes, my computer is very slow and I don't want to.
Go, start your raid, go.
I have to wait. Thanks for joining me.
Yep, you raid Shiki with me.
I got 5 steps.
I'm ready to raid right now, Gabby.
But why did you start your raid before? I told you my
Okay.
computer is slow. Okay, I'm raiding you now.
Is this a pyramid scheme? I'm gonna give it a second.